distinguished guests, and dear participants across the globe. A very good evening to you all, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to welcome you to the validatory session of the second internal conferences of WAAR organized by SKR College Barbigha and in collaboration with WAAR. We now move to the last and most awaited segment of this conference, the valedictory address by our esteemed speaker. So it is my distinct honor and privilege to introduce our valedictory speaker, Professor Prabha Jerivandan. The thing is, she has modestly handed over a very brief bio note of hers to our organizing team. So I Googled her and searched her LinkedIn profile to explore her overwhelming academic and research achievements. And let me read it through. Professor Jerivandan is a professor at Centennial College, Toronto, Canada, and she is also the director of the World Association of Academic Research, Greater Toronto Chapter. An Indo-Caribbean Canadian, her scholarship is informed by her Caribbean heritage and focuses on the immigrant experiences, women's studies, memory work, life history research, and creative writing. Her research is dedicated to recovering marginalized narratives, particularly those of Caribbean communities, and examines the intersections of identity, migration, colonial legacies, and social justice. Through writing and storytelling, she amplifies voices that are often overlooked, demonstrating the transformative powers of lived experiences in advancing both scholarship and social understanding. Professor Jerivandan's work exemplifies the integrations of academic excellence with a deep commitment to equity, inclusion, and meaningful social engagements. On behalf of the organizing committee and of all the participants, it is my great pleasure to extend a warm welcome to Professor Prabha Jerivandan. We are truly honored to have you with us and look forward to your valedictory address. Professor Jerivandan, the virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you so much for your welcome. Thank you all for being here today. It is my honor to be present at the second international conference of the World Association of Authors and Researchers, Technological Advances in English Studies, Interdisciplinary Approaches, and to be able to deliver the valedictory address. I would like to quote Professor Vijay Kumar Roy in noting that one of the ways that we can serve humanity is in the exchange of knowledge. And what a worthy forum it is to do so through an academic conference such as the one experienced this weekend. The paper that I am presenting today seeks to contribute to the knowledge and visibility of a specific group of marginalized people, Venezuelan migrant children in Trinidad and Tobago. And just recently, there have been 2 earthquakes in Venezuela. So globally, people are sending out their sympathy and help. So that country has been plagued by so many issues other than political instability. Immigration in a global context is not new. The earliest peoples were nomadic. However, the irony of modern day society seems to be that with the increase of wealth, and I mean extreme wealth, there is the correlating opposite of extreme poverty experienced by people. Economic migration is also not new. It seems instinctive that humans want to improve their lives, but the ability to do so is not always there. It is at times very daunting for the individuals who face further to economic hardship, social and political instability. While this work focuses on a specific group, the phenomenon of migrant struggle is not novel. Even when migrants move within their own countries and they have rights of citizenship, they endure severe challenges in accessing education and avenues for social mobility. As Liu Quan explains in terms of migrant children in China, and I quote, "In public schools, migrant children encounter a sense of urban superiority and rural marginalization. In private schools, immigrant children experience the combination of urban and rural hometown culture. In self-run schools, migrant children often experience systemic exclusion from policies." There are similar observations in relation to inequity in educational opportunities that are underscored by religious difference. In pre-independent Trinidad and Tobago, Campbell notes that the two most powerful churches, the Roman Catholic Church and the Church of England, did almost nothing for the Indians before 1870. There was the cost of religious conversion, not only for opportunity, but for social visibility within a society that looked down on Indians and their culture. Many refused to give up their culture, especially their religions of Hinduism and Islam. The Canadian Presbyterian Mission has been credited for their work, and the fact that the missionaries rescued the Indian population from the neglect of the government and the inadequate attention of other churches, and provided the schools which brought literacy in English and improved chances for upward social mobility for many Indians. More than a century later, there is a new population of migrants in Trinidad and Tobago who are experiencing a similar set of challenges, except this time they do not have rights as legal residents of the country, and this exacerbates the problem. This project began with a conversation between the English language instructor of the group of children included in this study, and he explained that he was teaching English language skills to a group of migrant children. As a fellow educator, we pondered the social and political situation of the number of migrant children who have been unable to access public education in Trinidad and Tobago. We discussed the richness of Venezuelan culture that was now showing up in the visible demographic changes in the country. And we wondered about how we could contribute meaningfully to the issue other than providing language instruction. There are similarities in the relationship between social mobility and education in early post-colonial Trinidad and Tobago that I have discussed in previous research. They are both unique and familiar thematic issues that arise from the conversations with the children. This illustrates the distinct characteristics that each culture holds, but the universality of human challenges and triumphs. We decided on a project that would give voice to the stories and lived experiences of this group of children. No AI-generated stories or work for this project. I wish to present voices of the children, especially within the marginalized political positions that they inhabit. I will analyze some of the ideas and themes arising from the conversations we've had and the writing they share to show ways in which they are learning language and assimilating into the culture of Trinidad and Tobago. However, I wish to showcase authentic snippets of the lives of these children through highlighting their actual written and spoken language. I also bring attention to their hopes and dreams in aspiring for visibility of their dire situation, which holds promise for political changes that can offer formal education so that they will have currency for better lives in the future. This study captured the voices of 11 migrant children in an urban area in Trinidad and Tobago, which is a small sample from the many undocumented children living in the country. To protect the identity of the children, I use pseudonyms and have not named the support group or any personnel associated with it. The names of the children used are those that they gave themselves when I asked them to choose names that they liked. And the project began this way. It is 8:30 on a Wednesday morning. Together with my fellow educator, I enter the building, an old house transformed into a school for migrant children. There are 2 classes, but I sit in on the one that is in the first room. There are 6 students. Stella, who is 14, Luna, who is 13, Baki is 11, Jessica is 11, Tree, who is 10, and Michael, who is 10. I was quite surprised when one of the students named himself Tree, but in honoring their voices, I have kept the names that they chose for themselves. Jessica and Tree sit next to each other. At first, they're a bit shyer than the others, and they do not speak up as much as Michael. He is louder and offers input, even when not asked. It seems as if he tries to make the others laugh. His English language level is good, and he sits at the front of the classroom. Luna is distracted by his ongoing mischief. He teases the teacher by talking in Spanish to his classmates. Luna giggles and joins in. Her English skills are also good. In the second row, there is Stella, Baki, Jessica, and Tree. The educator conducts lessons in English and assigns writing exercises after oral discussions, and these children become much more comfortable with my presence, and they ask me for help. Over the next 5 weeks, I visit the school and talk to the group of children. Some are regulars, others are not. I learned that some of them depend on transportation to the school from others, and this is not always possible. There are some other students, Luis, who's 10, Paula and Isabella, 12, Katrina is 13, Stephen is 14. So the group of children, they are within the age group of 10 to 14. They're not as regular as the first group that I met. Before they begin classes in English, they huddle together and they pray in Spanish. The caretaker of the house speaks Spanish to the children, and they conduct a short prayer, just before they begin class. The school that the group of migrant children attend is not part of formal public education in Trinidad and Tobago, but the efforts of a migrant support group. The coordinating director of the project explains that there are no requirements for children to attend the school. No one is turned away. The children should be at least 5 years old and toilet trained. Since the children are provided with meals and school supplies, there is no additional burden to parents. The main challenge for this project is sustainable funding, as the coordinating director says that it costs at least 20,000 TT dollars to run the program monthly. Venezuelan migrant children have been accessing mostly English classes through this initiative, although there are attempts to include mathematics and science instruction. Since children who do not have documented status as nationals or residents of the country cannot access public education, they are at the mercy of groups of non-governmental organizations who have been partly funded by UNICEF and some churches. There are 2 separate locations for this school, one for younger children in another part of the city, while this study includes the location for children who are 10 years or older. The 2 centers are open from Monday through Thursday, and the coordinator has been exploring the possibility of having a Friday online session. The body that runs the school in which the study focuses is assisted by the Roman Catholic Church. According to the coordinating director, the church has provided shelter, but support for the project changes according to the preference of assigned parish priests in the specific locations. Depending on their personal perspectives on migrant children, they may not support the project. A quick internet search shows some initiatives to address social issues with undocumented Venezuelan migrants in Trinidad and Tobago, with one assessing the number of Venezuelan migrants by the end of 2023 to be over 38,000. A joint select committee on human rights, equality, and diversity in request for information by the Ministry of Education in Trinidad and Tobago recommends The drafting of national legislation to ensure that migrant children can access education in accordance with international law. However, newspaper reports show that many migrant children are still not receiving public education. In 2022, of the mere 1,323 migrants analyzed, 64% of the children related to the respondents could not access education in Trinidad. Although some migrants have begun the process of registering with the Ministry of Homeland Security in the country, there are still numerous hurdles before the children can actually access public education. One article notes a statement from the UN Refugee Agency on August 30th, 2024, said that there were about 6,000 school-aged children in Trinidad and Tobago with no access to education. The plans for integrating migrant children into the public education system of Trinidad and Tobago has begun, but the implementation of plans are yet to materialize. This project was designed to offer scope for writing and speaking by the group of children. It includes a methodology that I have used before in digging up memories and encouraging expression through writing prompts with the hope of unearthing thematic similarities that would help to understand the experiences of a group of people. As the English literacy levels of the migrant children vary, some of the concerns included the limitations of their self-expression. During their classes, they were given the following topic of prompts: my grandmother or grandfather, my home, favorite food, favorite music, and what I want to be when I grow up. The educator and I offered help with spelling and language structures while they wrote, but they were allowed to write freely for a period of time. After the writing was complete, I had individual conversations with the children and asked them about details of their experiences. This study pivots on ethnography and autoethnography. Through ethnography, the researcher is placed in a matrix of significant relationships. Drawing on past relationships, as with my fellow educator, we engage in discussions that initiate the project, as well as the opportunity to capture the unique voices of migrant children. Through our time spent together and sharing stories, I share my own experiences with the participants. We engage in a relationship of giving and receiving stories. During our conversations, I invite the children to ask me questions about myself. I employ autoethnography, which allows for my voice not only as researcher, but as an active participant in the ways that I reveal the results of inquiry. In showcasing the written and spoken language of migrant children, I include a methodology that aims to be collaborative and participatory, as opposed to creating research subjects that are at risk of being alienating, demeaning, and exploitative. It is hopeful that this work will be received by an audience that may be extended throughout the educational sphere and into public modes of existence to enable future social and political improvements that can better serve vulnerable populations globally. For this study, I draw on Denson's discussion of ethnography as that form of inquiry and writing that produces descriptions and accounts about the ways of life of the writer and those written about. He situates the practice of ethnography as intrinsic to the theory of culture, the theory of the social, and the theory of writing. He posits theory, writing, and ethnography are inseparable material practices. Together, they create the conditions that locate the social inside the text. Hence, those who write culture also write theory. Also, those who write theory write culture. In honoring the voices of Venezuelan migrant children, I present their writing and their voices, their own understandings of how they want to be presented. and representative. So the first section I will talk about here, I call Grandmothers, Bridges from Venezuela to Trinidad. For all the children who write about their grandmothers, they locate them in Venezuela. Each story is about the comfort and care that they provide, especially in the absence of parents who travel to other countries. It is not uncommon for grandparents to act as caregivers, especially in cases of economic hardship or migration. In growing up in the Caribbean, a rereading of the Noarians and other stories, I discuss literary works that highlight strong grandmother characters who provide essential nurturing to young protagonists. In Crick Crack Monkey, written by Merle Hodge, the young child T is put in the care of her maternal grandmother when her own mother dies. The narrative follows the development of the child throughout primary and secondary schooling until she joins her father, who has migrated to England. In Samaru's The Noarian, the young protagonist and his older brother spent 6 years with their maternal grandmother on the other side of the island as their parents are economically struggling. Venezuelan migrant children reflect on the love that they receive. And it is noticeable that grandparents fill in for parents who move to other countries in search of better opportunities. While many of the parents move to Trinidad, Jessica and Tree, who are brother and sister, they recall when their father moved to Colombia before going to Trinidad. Jessica describes her grandmother in the context of other family members. She writes, and I am going to share with you the actual words of these children in honoring their voices. So they are not standard structures, it is in their actual language. Jessica writes, when I have 8 years, my father going to Colombia and my mother going to Trinidad. When my mother and my father going, I live with my grandmother, my grandfather, and my uncle. My grandmother no working, and my uncle and my grandfather working. My grandmother now has 54, and my grandfather has 58, and my uncle has 36 years. I want to go to Venezuela to see my family. Tree, who's Jessica's brother, writes, when I have 5 years, my father go Colombia. After my mom and my father go Trinidad and Tobago. My grandmother cook anything. Sometimes my grandmother buy juice. Both siblings comment on their parents' absence, resulting in their grandmother's temporary surrogacy. In a conversation with Michael, he recalls a story about his maternal grandmother, who he says saved his life when he was a baby. She took care of him when he became ill. In his writing, he remembers that he and his brother stayed with his maternal grandmother in Venezuela when his mother moved to Trinidad. He talks about her sending money to take care of his brother and himself. He writes, when I was small, my mom and my brother come to Trinidad and Tobago, and I was with my grandmother. And she'd take care of me, and my mom sent money for my grandmother and I, for my grandmother to buy food for me when I was a baby. My grandmother bought things for me, and I love my grandmother, and I will do anything for her. There is so much love for his grandmother. Some of the children point out qualities in their grandmothers that are admirable, and they are able to discuss the theme of love in their writing. Stella writes, my grandmother is the best person in the world because she was kind, funny, and helpful and strict. She has a sad and happy life. She told me that when she was my age, she got married to my grandfather, and they built a house with a bar and a mini shop. My grandmother loves my mom and my siblings just as she loves me. On Christmas, she gave me a doll, even though she was blind. My grandparents were blind for a few years. She doesn't know what I look like, but I was still her favorite. Now she's resting in peace, but I know she will never forget our time together. Stella highlights the good qualities of her grandmother and the impact on her life. She takes pleasure in highlighting her place in her grandmother's life as her favorite. Similarly, Luna recognizes her place in her grandmother's life as not just her granddaughter, but as a daughter. She writes, "My grandmother is kind, pretty, and she's a good person. She'd go to the church, and when I was 5 years, I go with she to the church. All the day she chat with my mom. Last weekend, I see she in the phone. Her name is Anna, like the name of my mom. She has a brown hair and brown eyes. She is small and beautiful person. She said I am her daughter, and she has 4 children, 3 girls and 1 boy, and she cooks so good." Luna focuses on her grandmother's goodness and also on her relation to the church. From the grandmother's stories, the children reveal details of their migration journey as well. Baki explains, "When I was born, my mom was 21 years old. She was in secondary school. So my grandmother bought many things for me. So when my mother finished the secondary, she was 22 years old. I suspect that the students and the ages that they give are not always very accurate, but these are their stories. And she had my little sister. I was 1 year old, and my mother went to Trinidad, and my grandmother take care of us. When I was 4 years old, my mom take me to Trinidad. My sister was 2 years, then a few months later, we take my sister to Trinidad. This is the story of my grandmother." The children miss their grandmothers due to the divide of being in another country, one where they do not have the means to travel back to see their families in Venezuela. Stephen writes, "My grandmother, she from Venezuela. I miss she because she in Venezuela and me in Trinidad. My grandmother is good. She is sad because my grandfather died. She is good with me and my brother. She liked to play with my brother. She helps my mother. She is good grandmother." The stories give details on other family members who have migrated to other countries. For example, Paula writes, "My grandmother is good person. She's doctor. She loves me. She's 58 years. She is from Venezuela. She has 3 kids. The primer, which means first in Spanish, is from Brazil. The two, she means second, is my daddy. And the third, is in our family." For some of the children, only if their grandparents can travel to Trinidad do they have the hopes of seeing them. Isabella writes, "My grandmother is a beautiful woman. When she lived in Venezuela, in Anaco, she loved me much. She have black hair and she have pretty eyes and she's so funny, hardworking and smart. She coming to July and I see she after 9 years, I not see she." Even after not seeing her grandmother for most of her life, Isabella looks forward to her arrival. Grandmothers provide nurturing through their physical presence and also in food experiences that show up in their stories. And we know how closely related food and love can be. For the children, their grandmothers are symbols of love and care. I move on to talk about poverty, which is a burden to people in general, but to these young migrants, it is an extreme burden. When asked to write about home and what I want to be when I grow up, the theme of poverty shows up. It is not unusual for migrant populations to experience poverty as they do not usually share the same socio-political positioning as legal residents in a country. In describing migrants, Kwong notes, marginality locates a group's position in society. The social location is usually seen in relation to the mainstream society, with the dominant group at the center and the minorities on the periphery. The locals generally possess higher levels of education, hold better jobs, are more prosperous, and have higher status than the migrants. They also have mannerism, speech and dress codes, and living habits that set them apart from the newcomers. The situation of Venezuelan migrants in Trinidad and Tobago is similar to Kwang's description. Restrictions for adults to be included in the society as documented migrants affect their children who cannot access public education. Children need to provide proof of citizenship or residence if they are to be enrolled in public schools in Trinidad and Tobago. There are foreboding issues if the population of Venezuelan migrants are left as undocumented and their children grow up without education and training that can help them to assimilate economically into the society. A study published in 2022 explains the predicament of migrant children in Trinidad and Tobago. There are global mandates, such as the 1951 Refugee Convention, that entitle refugees to asylum. However, Venezuelan migrants do not receive such consideration in Trinidad and Tobago. The authors explain, often parents cannot secure employment and families live in poverty. The stories of the children elucidate their economic status through their self-positioning. Michael writes, "When I grow up, I want to be a doctor to save people's life and have money, so I will not be poor, so I can mind my family and my family want me to be a doctor." He understands that he's poor. And he shows us that not just he, but his family have ambitions to be better off. Jessica relates, "All the time I pass money for my family in Venezuela." She shows that despite experiences of poverty, there are economic advantages that migrants can have in Trinidad compared to family left in Venezuela. And then I include a discussion of hopes and dreams. When asked to write about what I want to be when I grow up, their stories reveal the hopes and dreams of the children. Stella writes, "When I grow up, I want to be a photographer because I like taking photos and it's fun. My brother-in-law is a photographer and he makes a lot of money. I was training with him, so I will know how to use a camera. I will go around the world and take photos of different things." She identifies her love for photography, but it is also an avenue to be better off financially. Luna writes, "When I grow up, I want to be a model of Victoria's Secrets, a dancer of hip hop, and that is all." Tree writes, "When I grow up, I want to be policeman." In a discussion with him, in a conversation, he says that he would like to be a firefighter or a chef like his father. The children, they have their personal dreams, and some of them are shaped by the personalities of loved ones in their lives. The children also wrote about their favorite places. This prompt produced ideas about places that they knew from the lived past lives, but many of the children have dreams of moving and experiencing the world. There are some children who chose places in Venezuela, which was quite interesting because they have left Venezuela. Michael wants to visit Margarita, which is an island within the border of Venezuela. He says, "I want to go for my birthday. I want to go because it's nice, and Margarita is my favorite place because I love it and I will bathe in the beach." He understands that going there is special as he wants to go for his birthday. Stephen writes, "My favorite place is Caracas." So Caracas is the capital of Venezuela. In our conversation, he explains that he likes the city environment, like the one in Trinidad. It is different from Maturin, which is probably where he comes from. And just to tell you a little bit about the geography of Trinidad and Venezuela, the mainland of Venezuela is separated from Trinidad by 8 miles of ocean. And that's the way that many migrants access Trinidad and Tobago, through illegally entering coming on pirogues or small boats. Many of them die. They endanger their lives, the lives of very young children, and they enter the country from that mainland. That mainland is far from the city. So this mainland area, it is more prone to poverty as it is quite rural and they do not have access to amenities. Another student, another child, he talks about like his favorite place is Merida, and it is also a place in Venezuela. He says, my favorite place is Merida in Venezuela because it is cool and good. The people like baseball. I will play baseball. These stories suggest that the children appreciate places in their own country. And that stood out to me. Sasha writes, my favorite place is Tokyo in Japan because I love the culture, the food, and the people. And she talks specifically about, she says, it is a busy, beautiful, fun place, which is why I want to go now so I can work, study, and live there. And she identifies a country that she's fascinated with, but more importantly, she identifies a dream that is usually a formula as a marker of success. When people are able to work, study, and live, that is usually seen as an ideal for success in life. Katrina writes about Italy as her favorite place. The children all have access to technology. They all either have a mobile phone and a tablet or both at times. They are aware of the world and of the possibilities of travel. After all, they are already travelers to a new country. Trinidad is considered a popular migrant destination for Venezuelans, but from their stories, the children express ambitions of moving on to different countries. So I'm looking at the time and I am going to skip through some of the information on the language practice of the children. Some of the ways that children show their integration into Trinidadian society is in the unique language structures that show up and in their identification of Trinidadian food as their favorite. Michael writes about his hopes of minding my family and says, my grandmother minded me when I was small. The idea of minding someone means taking care of the person in Trinidadian dialect. In many of their language structures, the children use subject pronouns as object pronouns, which is also typical of Trinidadian dialect. The children like a mix of Trinidadian and Spanish-influenced music. They also indicate their preference for Trinidadian street food, especially doubles and roti. And for those of you who might not know what doubles is, it is very proudly touted as Indo-Caribbean food. It is fashioned in what I think is chana bhatura. I think that's the Indian dish, but it was concocted in Trinidad in early, I think the 1900s, when this man from, this Indo-Trinidadian man, he came up with bara and chana, and he put them together like a sandwich. And it has since evolved in terms of spice, and there are chutneys that are added, and it is very delicious. It has become one of the most popular street foods in Trinidad. And so we are becoming globally known for doubles. And the children, they like doubles and they like roti. Isabella and Luis love spicy food, which is also typical of Trinidadian street food. Conversations with the children and a study of their writing point to their assimilation into the dominant cultural structures of Trinidad and Tobago. Venezuelan food remains a part of their cultural practice as well. So we are seeing food stands show up with empanada and arepas. Their rich heritage has already begun to influence the culture of Trinidad and Tobago as a melting pot of varied cultures. Data collected through written stories and transcripts of conversations with the children in this study hold the potential for more analysis as the phenomenon of their migrant experience continues and unfolds in different ways. This paper offers a glimpse, just a glimpse, into the complexities of their struggle for education and social opportunity in their new country. This paper highlights the true voices and language practice of some migrant children to showcase their lived realities, their challenges, and their hopes and dreams despite limited circumstances. I would like to end this presentation with a quote from the New Yorker, one of my favorite magazines. In Yu-Yun Lee's conversation with Hannah Jocelyn in the New Yorker's the section called What We're Reading, she responds to the question of what she reads for inspiration, and she cites the following verse taken from the collected poems of Wallace Stevens. And I quote, "To say more than human things with human voice, that cannot be. To say human things with more than human voice, that also cannot be. To speak humanely from the height or from the depth of human things, that is acutest speech." Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for your inspiring and insightful valedictory address. I sincerely appreciate ma'am for her talk, and through some compelling stories of Caribbean and Venezuelan migrants, mostly the children, she vividly illustrated the importance of inclusivity while highlighting the enduring strength of family bonds and the deep nostalgia for home and belongings. Her narratives reveal the emotional realities of migration that many of us fail to fathom. And it inspires greater empathy, compassion, and a deeper commitment in building inclusive societies. So thank you so much, ma'am, for pointing out all these aspects. Generally, in valedictory session, we don't ask for questions and all, but if someone has anything to add to ma'am or some comment, you may come forward. Otherwise, we'll end this session. We'll move to the next session. I guess there is nothing on the chat box yet. So thank you so much, Professor. On behalf of the organizing committee and all the participants, I extend our sincere gratitude for your time, for your wisdom, and for your gracious presence. And it has been an honor to have you with us. Thank you once again.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I would like to invite some of the participants to share their feedback about the conference. Is there anyone who want to share their feedback? Any of the participants?
Sir, good evening, sir. This is Sudipti, sir, from Visakhapatnam. Professor in English department, sir.
Sure, ma'am.
Please switch on your
Yes.
cameras. So please switch on your camera.
No, we don't have power, sir. It's so dark.
Okay, all right.
I just wanted to speak. This was my first conference after I'm a research scholar, sir. So I've joined recently in Centurion University. And this is my first experience actually. I did not attend such kind of conferences. And from yesterday, I'm logging in and I'm observing everything. It was really useful, sir. And if we completely concentrate in this, really, it's a knowledgeable task that as a professors in the college, we really require this kind of information, which we don't know. I mean, actually, I don't know many of the things. And I have learned a lot of things in this conference, sir, and I have given the presentation also. So I was very happy today. This is my first experience, and hope we'll go with a great experience going forward, sir. Thank you so much to the
Thank you.
organizing team as well, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks for
sir.
your honest confession.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else?
Sir, may I?
Yes,
Yes.
please carry.
Sir, this is Bimki Mondol. I'm a research scholar in YBN University, English department. Sir, for me also, this was a great experience, especially not only presenting paper. I want to thank the managing committee because this is the first time that I got the chance to do the role of a moderator. So my session chairperson or chair ma'am was very happy. I conducted the session well, and this was a great learning for me, where I made mistakes and how I'm supposed to conduct the session well, present. Even when I presented also, I found out that a lot of things I missed out. How I myself should be prepared for participating in an international conference, not only an international conference, or in also conferences of our country. So I have gained a lot of knowledge, and I think that will help me in my future, in my future work, and will help me to present nicely in all the conferences that I would be participating. And thank you so much to all the managing committee members for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, Bimki. We wish you all the very success.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Anyone else? Is there anyone else?
Your
Okay.
feedback will encourage us to organize more such events. So please don't hesitate. If you have certain suggestions for improvement, that's also welcome.
Yes, Neha, please carry on.
Good evening, everyone. I'm from KKM College, Jamui. And I just want to thank all of you that you have paid a very much big attention on a student, as this conference was basically about in all the research scholars and the professors. But I am a student, so the session chair, Soma Sundri Lata ma'am, has paid so much attention on my question. So I'm feeling very thankful for you all for organizing this conference.
Thank you, Sneha, for your candid.
Everyone likes pampering, so some words of appreciation we are looking for.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, all. So, I am Dr. Upama Behera from Odisha, SS Autonomous College, Odisha. I participated so many conferences, but what I found very unique is the way of presentation, and the most important thing is that how plenary speakers, resource persons, intellectuals across the globe join in this conference. And I think other conferences, I will find one or two speakers from across the globe you will find, but here across the globe you will find almost um, more number of speakers joined, participated, and deliberated their talk. So I think it is very unique, and they have highlighted about the recent issue, basically AI, and you will find the pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages of using AI, ChatGPT. All this thing is very, very relevant, useful, and basically essential. It is essential and was essential for all the scholars, intellectuals, professors like us. So thank you all the organizing team, and also Manish Kumar sir for organizing such a wonderful conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Anyone else?
Good evening, sir. This is Shaika Aman Fazi. I am a
Yes.
research scholar from YBN University English Department. Sir, this was my first international conference and I learned a lot from here. Yesterday only I had to present my paper, but somehow because of some internet glitch and all, I couldn't present. Today I presented my paper with the least preparation, obviously, because I was given many comments by my chairperson ma'am also. So that was suggestion actually that will help me in the future endeavor, sir. And these kind of platform actually gives us the exposure to actually polish ourselves, our personality and all, and face the world in the positive way. So thank you very much, Manish sir, all the managing committee, our moderator, Bimki Mondal. She also cooperated and me a lot in showcasing my paper and all. So thank you, all of you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your feedback. So, anyone else want to speak on?
So, good evening, sir.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Dr. Nirmal Sharma. Actually, due to some network issue, I'm not able to open my video.
No
So, I
problem.
hope I'm audible. Yes.
You are audible.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So, really, if I talk about this conference, really, it's wonderful and excellent. The speaker and the management. First of all, I need to thank Dr. Professor Vijay Kumar Roy sir and Manish sir and all the organizing committee member. Very, very, you can say, congratulations to just organizing such a wonderful conference. And as far as the speakers are concerned, really amazing information. We are very much happy to just be the part of this conference because we are getting so many things. And the way they are sharing and the energy they are having, it's really wonderful. So I'm very happy to just be the part of this conference and congratulations and hoping that in future also we will be the part of other conferences. So thank you so much. Really, it's very wonderful, and I'm happy to be the part of this. Thank you so much, sir, Roy sir, and the organizing committee member. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Nirmal. Anyone else?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm Chabi, Assistant Professor from Kosi College, Kagadia, and I'm very thankful to the managing committee of this conference who has organized this session well, as we have got a chance to learn a lot from such type of sessions, and that was very highly knowledgeable for us, and definitely we will just understand the present scenario which is going on and try to inculcate all those things which we have learned or shared our views through our studies, and in this way we and the learners will definitely be helped by such type of sessions. And just I'm also thankful that the all the members who have joined and all the presenters who have presented their papers. I'm also thankful to them and the managing committee once again and the organizations. So thank you for such a wonderful conference. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Chavi ma'am, for your honest feedback. Anyone else? So I guess we can now move to our next part. So it is now my privilege to welcome Dr. Yogeshwar Shah, Assistant Professor of English, CM Science College, Darbhanga, who is also the Treasurer of WAAR, and we are grateful to him for kindly agreeing to present the conference report. So may I now request Dr. Shaw to present the report of the conference.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. The written word endures while the spoken word fades. A report preserves the journey of ideas, discussions, and discoveries of generations to come. Respected dignitaries, distinguished guests, eminent scholars, learned faculty members, researchers, students, and dear participants. Good evening to one and all present here on this virtual platform. It is both an honor and privilege for me to share the report of the second International Conference of the World Association of Authors and Researchers, WAAR, on the theme Technological Advances and English Studies, Interdisciplinary Approaches, was organized by SKR College, Barbigha, Sheikhpura, in collaboration with the Greater Toronto Chapter and Sheikhpura Chapter of WAAR. The conference brought together eminent academicians, researchers, and scholars from India and abroad to discuss the emerging intersections of technology, English studies, education, and interdisciplinary research. The conference commenced with an inaugural session marked by the presence of distinguished academicians and scholars. The welcome address was delivered by Professor Bhavesh Chandra Pandey, convener of the conference, Professor and Head, University Department of English, and Dean of Humanities, Munger University. He welcomed the guests and participants and highlighted the significance of exploring technological developments in the field of English studies. An introduction to the World Association of Authors and Researchers was presented by Professor Vijay Kumar, sir, the President and Patron of WAAR, who explained the vision, objectives, and academic activities of the organization. The chief guest, Professor Sanjay Kumar, Vice Chancellor, Munger University, delivered the inaugural address, and he emphasized the importance of technology-driven approaches in contemporary education and research, and underlined the need for integrating humanities with technological innovations. The keynote address was delivered by Kshema Josh Iflu, Hyderabad, who discussed the changing dimensions of English studies in the digital era and the significance of interdisciplinary approaches in academic exploration. The inaugural session was concluded with a vote of thanks proposed by Dr. Manish Kumar, who expressed the gratitude to all the dignitaries, speakers, organizers, and the participants. The first plenary session included insightful presentations by renowned scholars. Professor Robert Stroud from Tokyo delivered an enriching and fascinating talk on changing AI's expanding role in English studies. He explored the growing influence of artificial intelligence in language learning, teaching, research, and literary studies. Professor Shireen Shafiq Ibrahim from United States University, USA, spoke on mastering English through mobile apps. She highlighted the role of mobile applications in improving language learning and communication skills through accessible digital platforms. Professor Hassan Abrauz, UCSI University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, presented his views on AI-enhanced English studies education. He discussed the potential of artificial intelligence in transforming English education through personalized and innovative learning practices. Following the plenary session, seven technical sessions were conducted under the chairmanship of different session chairs and respective moderators. More than 50 scholars presented their research papers on diverse areas related to English studies, literature, language, education, technology, and interdisciplinary research. The sessions provided a valuable platform for academic discussions, exchange of ideas, and presentation of innovative research findings. The inaugural session and the plenary session 1 were moderated by Dr. Lisa Singh. The second day of the conference continued with engaging academic discussions focusing on digital education, computational learning, digital humanities, and ethical challenges in the age of artificial intelligence. Dr. Anil Kumar Singh, IIT BHU, delivered a lecture on the power of simple and elegant ideas in computational learning. Some examples. He highlighted the importance of innovative and creative approaches in computational learning and their relevance in modern education. Dr. Abhilal Mukherjee, UDEI, New Delhi, presented on Our Classes Are Online, Digital Andragogy, New Media and Future Access, Equity and Education. He discussed the transformation of technology, teaching learning practice through digital platforms and the role of technology in promoting inclusive education. Dr. Maya Dodd, Flame University, Pune, spoke on digital archives for all. She emphasized the importance of digital preservation, accessibility of knowledge resources, and the role of archives in supporting research. The plenary session 2 was gracefully moderated by Dr. Shaukat Banerjee. The second day also witnessed the parallel and the technical session 8 to 14 conducted by respective session chairs and moderators. More than 55 presenters presented their research papers. In total, there were 160 presenters and 136 registrations that we received. The presentations covered various themes related to English language, literature, digital learning, artificial intelligence, and emerging interdisciplinary perspectives. These sessions enriched the conference by encouraging scholarly interaction, critical reflection, and knowledge sharing among researchers. The third plenary session featured thought-provoking academic discussions. Dr. Garima Dalal from JNU delivered lecture on Beyond Copy-Paste, a taxonomy of thinking as an antidote to plagiarism. She focused on the importance of originality, critical thinking, and ethical academic practices in the digital age. Professor Nirmala Menon from IIT Indore presented on digital knowledge infrastructure and digital humanities project, intersections and challenges. She discussed the role of digital infrastructure in humanities research and the challenges associated with digital humanities initiatives. Professor Uday Kumar Mishra, TM Bhagalpur University, spoke on changing ethical dimensions in literary writing and the emerging challenges of AI and digitization. He highlighted the changing nature of literary creativity, authorship, and ethical concerns in the era of artificial intelligence and digital transformation. The session was successfully moderated by Mr. Priya Ranjan Tiwari. And the valedictory address was delivered by Professor Prabha Jeribandan from Toronto, Canada. She is also the director of Greater Toronto chapter. She highlighted her experiences of working with the migrant students. She also emphasized the problems and perils that they faced. Through her different narratives, she taught us the great lessons that we need to learn in this age of artificial intelligence, that is sympathy, empathy, and the kindness that literature offers to us. Dr. Manish will propose the vote of thanks for this valedictory session, and Dr. Anindya Sundar Pauli is conducting and moderating this session. The two-day international conference successfully created an academic platform for meaningful discussions on the role of technology in reshaping English studies, education, and research. The deliberations highlighted the opportunities offered by artificial intelligence, digital platforms, and interdisciplinary approaches, while also addressing ethical challenges. The conference concluded with the shared understanding that responsible and innovative use of technology can significantly contribute to the advancement of humanities and English studies in the contemporary world. At the end, I am reminded of Francis Bacon's quote, that is, reading maketh a fool man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. Thank you so much for your precious time and patiently listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yogeshwar, for presenting the conference report with such clarity and precision. We now move to the concluding segment of this valedictory session. May I now invite Dr. Manish Kumar, who is the organizing secretary of the conference, to deliver the formal vote of thanks and to announce the formal conclusion of this international academic gathering. I now request Dr. Manish to kindly proceed.
Thank you, Dr. Anindya. Respected Professor Jerry Bandan, distinguished speakers, honored guests, esteemed scholars, faculty members, researchers, participants, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to the conclusion of the second International Conference on Technological Advances and English Studies, Interdisciplinary Approaches, it is both my privilege and pleasure to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee. Over the past 2 days, we have witnessed a remarkable exchange of ideas, perspectives, and scholarly insights. What began as a shared academic vision has culminated in a truly international forum bringing together scholars, educators, researchers, students from diverse institutions and countries. The conference has successfully explored the evolving relationship between technology and English studies through discussions on artificial intelligence, digital humanities, digital cultures, language pedagogy, literary studies, ethics, archives, and emerging knowledge practices. Before expressing my gratitude, although Dr. Yogeshwar has submitted the report, let me talk about it in brief. That would be, real gratitude to the contributors. So before I express my gratitude, allow me to present a brief report of the conference. We were privileged to host an inspiring inaugural session graced by eminent academicians and administrators. The conference featured one keynote speech, multiple plenary lectures delivered by distinguished scholars from India, Canada, the United States, Japan, Malaysia, and 14 technical sessions. More than 100 research papers were presented by participants representing universities and institutions from across India and abroad. The diversity of topics and the quality of discussions testify to the growing relevance of interdisciplinary approaches in contemporary English studies. At the outset, I express my deepest gratitude to Professor Jerry Bandan of Centennial College, Toronto, Canada, who is also our collaborator for this conference, and the president of and the director of Toronto chapter of Greater Toronto chapter of Canada, WAAR, for delivering her valedictory address and for sharing her valuable insights with us. I extend my gratitude. I extend my sincere thanks to all our keynote and plenary speakers whose expertise and intellectual generosity enriched this conference. Their thought-provoking presentations challenged us to rethink the possibilities and responsibilities that accompany technological transformation in education, language, literature, and research. I offer my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Sanjay Kumar, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Munger University, and again Professor Sanjay Kumar, the Principal of SKR College Barbigha, Munger University, for their constant encouragement and support. Their faith in this initiative has been instrumental in its success. My sincere thanks are due to Professor Vijay Roy, the President of the World Association of Authors and Researchers, whose vision and commitment continue to create meaningful platform for global academic engagement. I also acknowledge the support of the WAAR Greater Toronto chapter and WAAR Sheikhpura chapter for making this conference a success. I express my profound appreciation to our conference chair, convener, conference chair, Professor Jerry Bandan, convener, Professor Bhavesh Chandra Pandey, the advisory board members, session chairs, moderators, technical team, and organizing committee members. Behind every successful conference lies countless hours of planning, coordination, communication, and teamwork. Their dedication has ensured the smooth conduct of every session and activity. The best part of it was that we could engage research scholars from different institutions, from different states, and it was a great learning experience for them. We had chairpersons for the technical sessions from different institutions. We are also very thankful to them. We are thankful to the research scholars who acted as moderators during the technical session. I would also like to thank all presenters, participants, and attendees. Your enthusiasm, thoughtful questions, critical reflections, and active engagement transformed this conference from a scheduled event into a vibrant intellectual community. The true success of any academic gathering lies not merely in the number of papers presented, but in the quality of dialogue generated. And in that regard, this conference has been exceptionally rewarding. As we conclude, let us remember that the conversations initiated here do not end today. Rather, they mark the beginning of new collaborations, research projects, publications, and academic partnerships. We hope that the networks formed during this conference will continue to flourish and contribute to future scholarship at the intersection of technology and the humanities. The rapid advancement of digital technologies, artificial intelligence, presents both opportunities and challenges. As scholars and educators, we have a collective responsibility to ensure that technological progress remains guided by human values, ethical considerations, creativity, and critical inquiry. The discussions held during this conference have reaffirmed the importance of such a balanced and human-centered approach. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank every individual and institution that contributed to the success of this conference. Your support, participation, and goodwill have made this event memorable and meaningful. With a sense of accomplishment and optimism for the future, I formally declare the second International Conference on Technological Advances and English Studies in Interdisciplinary Approaches concluded. Thank you all for your presence, your contributions, and your unwavering commitment to academic excellence. I wish all of you continued success in your academic pursuits and look forward to meeting you again in future editions of this conference. Thank you.